understanding how important trust is and that trust is actually multidimensional.
It fosters innovation and decision making within the organization because without that, there's no psychological safety. And this is a massive area that has risen to the forefront. Without risk, there is no innovation.
Trust is the currency of getting things done. Trust equals credibility plus reliability plus connection divided by my self interest, what I want to get out of stuff.
First of all, high trust organizations are 2 to 3 times higher in their stock margins than companies that are low trust organizations. 2 to 3 times higher stock market returns. And that is absolutely amazing, but it's been documented by Place to Work Institute. Trust accelerates the decision making process and information sharing. In other words, when you have team members that are helping each other, contributing to their knowledge management acquisition, and improving their productivity,
From what you're saying to us, this is big.
it's more massive than people even have a concept of understanding. Because here's what Simon Sinek says about this. First of all, about 70% of CEOs understand that there's a trust issue within the organization. Less than 25% act on it.
One of the things that just hit me in the face when I looked at that study was that employees trust their direct supervisor less than 50%.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Like 48, 49%. They trust executive leadership at about a 25% level.
Organizations need a concrete way to measure this. And so, as we focus on this, one of the things that we see is critical is that predictability. Trust is a belief or attitude held by the trustor, the person who trusts what the other person says. And it actually represents their willingness to be vulnerable. Trust is given by others to you. Trustworthiness is demonstrated by you to,
Are you ready?
but of course,
In your experience, what's the biggest mistake leaders make that damages trust within their teams or their organization?
oh, this one's simple.
Okay.
It's inconsistency between their words and their actions. My goodness. You've heard the old phrase, walking your talk,
Yeah.
doing what you say you're going to do. When leaders say one thing and do another,
The old phrase, employees don't leave companies, they leave managers.
that's right.
This is probably one of the primary reasons that happens.
That's why 85% of the people surveyed that have been in the workforce for over 20 years have left the company because of their manager, not because of the organization.
Yeah.
In organizations that don't get this, so many of them are requiring that employees come back into the office. And this reduces the freedom of moms picking up their kids, of dads not being able to do this or that when they were given the freedom to work remotely. So the key is focusing on clear expectations and consistent communication rhythms. Now, when teams aren't together, they still need these rhythms. Therefore, the structure of the interaction is critically important. Frequency is critical. The other thing, too, especially with remote people, is to focus on outcomes, not activity. a lot of companies don't understand, Steve, is that many people that feel micromanaged start looking for other kinds of work to supplement. And they will do these other things on the sly because they're not being monitored. We can still have those intimate conversations through Zoom or Teams or whatever. But most of all, we have to model vulnerability and authenticity within these conversations to make sure that there is trust. Leaders have to show their human side. This
Right.
is one thing.
Now, the value exchange is very different. People are looking for different things. It isn't just about dollars anymore.
That's
It's
right.
about, honestly, in many ways, it's about how much do I trust you? This is a different environment where trust is so much more important. As a leader, I need to be able to trust you. And so our focus needs to be more outcome based.
I can't tell you how many people I have met that said, I love the company, but I don't like to go to work. Moving into that growth mindset, because I can tell you this, a person who has never worked in the organization can come in with a good idea or concept and bring innovation to a stale organization and get them over the hump where they've been hitting the wall and revenues are stagnant. If you want that company to sustain itself over a period of time, if you don't have trust, pardon the expression, you ain't got nothing.